All right, story number three. Story number three. Willow Smith, daughter of rap royalty Will Smith. Willow Smith, incredibly talented. I think both of their kids are really talented, to be honest. Jaden and Willow are very, very talented. There's a picture I took with Willow and Jaden at the Rock Nation brunch. I think it's still on my Instagram account. I love that picture. It's one of my favorite pictures of all time. A lot of times, you know, you take a picture with like your favorite celebrities and people you admire, or you run across someone famous and you want to take a picture. I rarely have that feeling. I rarely do. You know, I honestly feel weird asking people for pictures. That was before I was in this space. You know, I remember being at spring break in Panama City, Florida, with a disposable camera at a Ja Rule concert. And Ja Rule was outside of Club La Villa, and everybody wanted to take a picture with him. And I was like, that'd be weird. That feels awkward and dry stalkish, you know? I've never been that guy. But I saw Willow and Jay, and I was like, oh, I got to get this picture. Because I love Will Smith, too. His music has been just at the core of my entire life. My mom, I think the first albums my mom ever gave me were, like, records, were Fat Boys, Wipeout, and Will Smith, he's a DJ, I'm the rapper. So I've always loved Will Smith. And so Willow Smith now I guess at this point, she's a very accomplished musician on her own. She obviously had Whip My Hair Back and Forth, which was her pop song. But she's been doing some R&B rock things, and she just released an experimental jazz album that went #1. So Hollywood Reporter did an interview with her, and she makes a really interesting point about how she sees Clout evolving with the youth in the future. All right, so here's the intro to the article, because I do think it's worth giving her a shout out for the success that she's had with this jazz album, and then we'll get to the clip, or, you know, the paragraph. Will Smith is releasing a deluxe version of her latest album, Pathogen, but she's surprisingly casual about the 3 new songs and accompanying visuals that will be available Friday. I'm just excited for the homies to watch me be crazy, because I love doing that, Smith tells The Hollywood Reporter. I love being crazy for other people's enjoyment. What may seem crazy to others is unparalleled commitment on the part of Smith, who reveals, while working on the original album, I pretty much locked myself in my house for 6 months and only practiced making music for hours a day. That the dedication to refining her technical skill as a musician paid off. Her 6th album, released on May 3rd and featuring collaborations with John Batiste and St. Vincent, hit the #1 spot on Billboard's Contemporary Jazz Albums chart and was bolstered by an NPR Tiny Desk concert where she performed the album's lead singles, Symptom of Life and Big Feelings. In Pathogen, Smith's first release through 360 and Gamma after leaving Rock Nation, is also her first to chart in the jazz category, having been seen primarily as an alternative R&B and rock artist throughout her career, classifications she has no interest in when it comes to her discography. I want to shy away from genre-specific descriptions of my music in the future because good music is just good music. All I want to do for the rest of my life is get better at my technical ability and my honesty and my spiritual connection. Just deepen that. And whatever kind of music comes from that isn't as important as the space that it's being created from. In an interview, the 23-year-old talks about her postponed tour with Childish Gambino, whether she'd hop on Beyonce's rock album, and debunking the fear that she would never top 2011's Whip My Hair. I whip my hair back and forth. I whip my hair back and forth. 1 second pause. All right, so here's the part that I really like. This part jumped out at me. One, the emphasis that she put in the beginning of that on her technical ability, I feel like is something that, in my opinion, is connected to the core of this shift we're seeing in the music industry, where we're seeing labels, you know, let go a ton of executives, seemingly de-emphasizing hip hop. A lot of these teams are gone. I think the industry has been, you know, prioritizing viral success over technical ability with their artists. There's been conversations for a decade plus about the A&R is non-existent. You just find somebody with a viral song and then you sign them to a deal and you collect the check. we've seen a lot of those artists not be able to translate that viral hit into a successful album or that viral hit into a touring artist or touring act. So it's great to hear her re-emphasize her focus on just being technically better, technically improving, which is something that's always been at the core of hip-hop. We've always looked at the greats, generally speaking, for a very long period of time on their technical ability, how they've been able to continue to improve lyrically, or producers continue to improve from a sonic standpoint, or what elements or instruments they're willing to bring in. And so it's really refreshing to hear her say that as a 23-year-old. Of this generation that I think a lot of us look towards as being more social media focused. So here is what she said that I think is really interesting. She says, I have a hunch musicianship is going to become the new clout. Like, the more talented you are, the more that you work on your technical ability, but also your honesty. It's the technical ability mixed with the vulnerability that really makes the ish go up. And I have a hunch that's going to become the thing that the youth craves very shortly. I hope so too. Because we've been doing another thing for a very long time, and the young people want soul food. They want the ish that matters. And that's not necessarily what we're giving them all the time. So when more people start to realize, like, oh, ish, the lineage is actually dedication, the lineage is actually caring about this ish, then I feel like people are going to come back and be like, okay, we've been known this, but I guess we forgot a little. We've been known this, but I guess we forgot a little. I've been talking about this shift. There's a lot of us that have been talking about a shift that's happening. I just described the industry side of it, but I also think that there's just an energetic shift. I think there's an energetic shift for the type of media people want to consume, or the type of music they want to consume, or the type of lives they want to live. You know, the world is very different following COVID. And I think we all became a little bit more insular when we couldn't go outside. And perhaps there's a connection to that. But I was really impressed with what Willow Smith said in this conversation. I'll put a link to the full article if you're interested in it. And let me know what you guys think about it. My name is Justin Hunt. Like and subscribe to the channel. Follow @TheCompanyMan on everything. It's all happening.
Justin Hunt is here, it's all happening. Justin Hunt is here, it's all happening. The mathematical breakdown of this mighty game of rap we in. It's boom happening. Systematical culture views us radical, it's all happening. Shaking hands and dabbing them. Life through the lens of hip hop, from trip hop to yes, yes, y'all, you don't stop, you don't stop. Justin Hunt is here, it's all happening. It's all happening, yes, it's all happening. Justin Hunt is here, it's all happening. It's all happening, yes, it's all happening.